Yes, Kiran, we're live now.
Good evening to you all. I'm Kiran Keshamurthy, and on behalf of Anajori, I invite you to today's session on broadly or thematically on gender and sexuality, which happens every Thursday. I teach English at IIT Guwahati, and this is on behalf of Anajori, a non-profit online platform that brings together activists, thinkers, academics of all kinds. Creates new conversations and networks between them. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to today's speaker, Diti Lekha. Diti is a trans masculine person who has been involved with queer, feminist, and student movements. Diti is a researcher who looks at academics and activism as informing each other intrinsically. Their work focuses on gender, nationalism, queer politics, and inclusive education. They are currently working in Sangat, a feminist network. Diti is also doing their PhD on the topic queer citizenship and nationalism. So welcome to you, Diti. Thank you very much for being with us today. And this is going to be for the participants. This is going to be a bilingual session, so where the speaker can speak both in English and Assamese, and also do bear with me since unfortunately I do not follow Assamese. I mean, I can follow it slowly, but yeah, if you could, Diti, where necessary, translate things that you think should be translated from Assamese for me, then it will be good. This is going to be a conversation. It's not going to be Diti speaking for a long time and then followed by questions. So it's going to be a conversation, a dialogue, and I request the participants to keep their questions ready towards the end of the conversation. You may unmute yourself, or you can actually post your questions on the chat box. And of course, you're welcome to ask your questions in Assamese or English. Um, yeah, so I have been. Thank you for sharing all your writings with me. I've actually managed to go through almost all of it, if not all of it. Yeah, thank you very much. Um, one of the things that struck me, one of the first things that struck me from what you sent me is, of course, your. I think many of your writings are very provocative, and I like the fact that you are thinking out of the box, and not just for people who identify as trans masculine, but also for other kinds of marginalized populations. So I'm really glad and I'm excited to have read quite a few of your writings. One of the things that I really liked a lot from what you said is, you seem to have a very, let's say, very uneasy relationship with masculinity. And I'm glad that you brought that up because it's not, one thing I think of, from my own perspective and from my own standpoint, is that the kind of the historical relationship that, let's say, gay cis men have had with feminism or with femininity may not be the same thing as the kind of relationship that, let's say, lesbians or trans men have had with men and masculinity, and especially conventional men and conventional notions of masculinity. So I was wondering if you could actually address, from your own writings and your own thoughts about what is your relationship to masculinity and also femininity, because you can't separate the two. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that that is the one of the first things that stood out to you. And um, so I have had, so I constantly get ask a lot of people this question, whether what, because this is a question that is asked very often. Ki, why do you identify as a trans person, or why do you identify as a man? I do not identify as a man, and I'll hopefully talk about it in a while. And yeah, so then one of the most strong popular narratives while I was exploring my own transness was that I feel this way. And I constantly keep asking, and I ask this of, like, irrespective of whether people are trans or whether people are cis, I keep asking, what is this feeling of being a man? Like, if I ask you what why, if you identify as a man, what is it that makes you feel like a man? So, and I often get very interesting answers from cis people also. Cis people in feminist spaces usually, because other people just get very defensive कि क्योंकि मैं औरत हूँ, because that or because this is especially true of, I think, cis men, who get extremely defensive the moment you say what makes you a man, why do you feel like a man, and then it becomes such a defensive stand. But I think this is a question that constantly I keep grappling with, that what does it mean to feel like a man, or what does it mean to feel like a woman. And I have actually had a huge I also say that my journey into discovering or coming to terms with my gender has been slightly different from whatever I have been able to read of trans narratives, etc. And I, for the longest time, I used to think, and I still, to a level, I think that within patriarchy, patriarchy doesn't allow you to be a man unless you are toxic. And like, toxic masculinity, the hegemonic idea of a certain kind of toxic man, is so interconnected to being a man. That is the only way to be a man that patriarchy allows us to be.
Yes.
And
sorry to interrupt you. Where
yeah,
necessary, please just
please, yeah,
speak
I
in
know,
Assamese. Yes,
try
yes.
it in
Especially,
Assamese.
yeah, especially your conceptual points will be nice. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Um. Okay, I think it will be better if somebody who does a better job in doing Assamese translation does it. But
Okay.
মানে এইটো আমাক প্ৰশ্ন খুব এইটো প্ৰশ্ন সোধা যায় যে পুৰুষ হোৱা মানে কি বা মহিলা হোৱা মানে কি, and স্পেচিয়েলি এইটো কুৱেশ্যন লৈ পেলাই মোৰ লাইফত মই বহুত চিন্তা কৰি থাকো আজিলৈকে কৰি থাকো। আৰু মোৰ লাগে যে আমি পিতৃতান্ত্ৰিক সমাজত থাকো, পেট্ৰিয়াৰ্কেল ছচাইটিত থাকো, সেই আৰু পেট্ৰিয়াৰ্কে পুৰুষৰ যোনটো এটা ইমেজ আমাৰ সন্মুখত গঢ়ি তুলিছে, সেই ইমেজটো মানে টক্সিক মানে অলমোষ্ট ঘিলনীয় masculinity বা পুৰুষ হোৱাৰ I'm really bad at this.
That's
yeah.
all right, Aditi. In fact, we can ask somebody else to do it later.
Yeah, I think
so why
it
don't you
would
just
be
continue?
so much better.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I'm really sorry about this.
No, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So so that is the only way to be a man. You have to be toxic, you have to be macho, you have to be, I don't know, like, robust, and you have to be emotionless. When I kandi, if you end up crying, মতা মানুহ ল'ৰা এটাই যদি সৰু কালিত কান্দে বা মতা মানুহে কান্দে, মাইকী নেকি কিয় কান্দিছ, this is the kind of thing that you get all the time, right? And it almost dehumanizes a human being when you are growing up. And as a result, like, for me to be associated with the idea of being a man is very difficult, because that is the only imagination of man that we have, and we don't know if there is any other imagination of being a man, right? And so I have a deep discomfort with identifying as a man, and which is why I say that I'm a boy. I keep saying that I'm a boy and I'm not a man, and because I think a boy is on the way of becoming something, and it is like a perpetual journey. I mean, you don't have to reach a point where you've become a man and you've become that toxic image of it. You can be whatever in that journey, right? So which is why I keep saying that I'm not a man, I'm a boy. And that is the kind of relationship I have with the identity of man. And man and masculinity are obviously need not be related, but are we allowed to separate man and masculinity is also a question that we constantly think about. And I'm so there are elements of I don't know, which is the reason because I question the idea of being a man. For me, like the idea of man is so toxic. So then everything else masculine, everything masculine about it becomes almost toxic, right? The qualities that are associated with masculinity are almost toxic, which is like the deep discomfort with the idea of masculinity. So some of the things I really like, and the more so when I started coming out as being a trans masculine person, is that I is some of the things that I really like had to be I had to almost put it on the side because it did not fit with the idea of being a man. And especially if you're trans, there is so much more pressure on you to be the man, to just so that the world knows that you are a man, right? So for example, like if I like red lipstick, or if I like high heel shoes, uh, I am not, I'm never going to become the man, right? I'm not never going to be seen as the man. So for me, I had to sort of keep that on the side and be like, I disassociate myself with certain things that I like. I used to love dancing and I almost gave up on it because, in fact, dance was one space I did not have to restrict my gender
Right, right.
because, you know, I used, you have masculine performances and feminine performances, and and those were fluid, and which is the kind of fluidity that dance allowed me.
Right.
But again, because our notion that, oh, this dance form is a feminine dance form, I had to sort of I know there's like a discomfort when I'm doing it. There's a sense of guilt and there's a sense of repulse when I'm sort of doing it, but also like I don't know how to balance it. Almost it's all a continuous struggle. And I keep saying telling myself ki, wait, tomorrow if I am accepted, maybe if my gender is affirmed, that I will feel more comfortable doing it. But then I think probably that gender will never be affirmed by somebody who does not want to affirm. I mean, I could be having like beard and somebody would still be saying, oh, you are not man enough because you like move your hands around, right? And yeah, that is the kind of relationship um, that I have had with masculinity and femininity, which is like this constant flux still in my head. And I really hope somebody can translate that because
I will.
my
Sure. No, I will ask Milind or somebody else to do it. I will certainly ask them someone to do it. But thank you very much. I think what you said was very accurate. That this constant flux. I think it's a very dynamic thing. Gender. It's even those who are cis and do not necessarily identify as trans. I'm sure like what you said. Waking up in the morning, you feel queer. It's like it's a bit like that. Like you kind of wake up and you're not sure what mood you're in. What you, because it's not something that you kind of always consciously put on and remove. And it just you maybe you watch something, or you have let's say a movie icon that you admire. It can be of any gender, or you kind of very often you feel like somebody else, and you don't even realize it. You kind of you carry yourself through the day feeling like that person or like that gender. So it's very fluid, as you said. And I think what you also said is about the people are compelling you to identify as something, like as though you have to complete the process. It kind of reminds me also of how people who claim to be bisexual for the longest time have been forced to identify, like if you don't
choose
identify
a side.
as either camp, then you're a complete interloper and you're not being loyal to any camp.
Yeah.
So you really have to make a choice, basically. I also was thinking about what you said in terms of dance. It's very interesting because there was a point when I was learning Bharatanatyam, and I was doing it, of course, to also avoid physical education classes and games and sports, into which I was not. So I was actually quite a stereotype that way. But then I also found it interesting that I was doing movements that I did not know were feminine. I couldn't care less. I thought that these were very elegant movements. I wasn't thinking in terms of feminine or masculine. But the teacher was very prompt in saying that your arms and your hands have to be spaced wide apart. You can't be too curvy. You can't be too contained. You can't be contained. You have to be very, you have to occupy more space. And for some reason, I was feeling very uncomfortable. And to this day, I find it very uncomfortable. This is visceral kind of response to men or especially men who occupy too much of space, especially, in autos and buses with your thighs sprayed apart. It's a very typical kind of a body language. But, which brings me to the question that, do you imagine yourself as, let's say, someone who offers or someone who embodies an alternative model of masculinity? I mean, do you think that there's a space where masculinity can be redeemed without damning it all? I'm just asking.
Yeah. I mean, that is a question that I keep asking myself. A lot of people, friends, people I know, especially trans men now, and woke men, uh, are trying. I mean, I know nice men, and there are people who are trying to do it differently. And I hope there are more narratives that talk about masculinity in different ways. But I think as long as it exists, masculinity or being a man exists as an institution,
Yeah, sure.
it becomes so much more difficult to break that.
Right.
Till there are, so everybody else will be like an alternative idea of the masculinity, and you have a typical idea of masculinity.
Right.
So
Diti,
yeah.
সেইকাৰণে তুমি তোমাৰ নেইল পলিশ খিনি খুব দেখুৱাই আছা আজি ন to make a statement.
Oh, please.
তো ময়ো অসমীয়াটো অকমান আনিব খুজিছো আৰু কিৰণ was saying কি মই অসমীয়াত ক'ব লাগে মইতো একো এক্সপাৰ্ট নহয় কিন্তু মাজে মাজে এনেকে কথা পাতি থাকিলে কাৰণ আমাৰ ভোকেবুলাৰিটিতে নাই তুমি এতিয়া ফেমিনিটি মাস্কুলিনিটি পুৰুষ ক্ৰান্তিক আমি ইমান এক্সপাৰ্ট নহয় তো আমিও থ্ৰু এনাজৰি উইল অলসো ৰিকুৱেষ্ট আমাৰ সমকামী বন্ধু বান্ধৱসকলৰ পৰা কি যোনে অসমীয়াত এক্সপাৰ্ট হয় কি আমাৰ লগত ভলান্টিয়াৰ কৰিব কাৰণে বিকজ আমাৰ অসমীয়াত এক্সপাৰ্ট জেন্ডাৰ সেক্সুৱেলিটি নাই হা সেইকাৰণে আমাৰ প্ৰবলেম হৈ যায় তো
I completely agree. Milind, আৰু এইটো কেৱল অসমীয়াৰ কথা নহয় I recently like last week মই এটা হিন্দীত সেশন লৈছিলো and হিন্দীত although মানে যোনটো ফেমিনিষ্ট মুভমেন্ট হয় ইমান বছৰে কাম কৰি আছে আৰু ইমান ভাষাৰ লগত কাম কৰি আছে ন কিন্তু even in Hindi it is almost impossible কিছুমান শব্দ ট্ৰান্সলেট কৰা একদম ইম্পসিবল আৰু পলিটিক্যালিও ইম্পসিবল মানে ফৰ এক্সাম্পল এটা শব্দ যোনটো মই লৈ পেলাই হেৰি ইউনিকটা নে সেক্সুয়ালিটি so sexuality শব্দটো আমি ইউনিক এফালে some people call it লেঙ্গিকতা some people call it yaunikta and it is a matter of politics, completely a matter of politics. Do you want to connect it to the ling or do you want to connect it to the yoni, right? And feminist pure junbor feminist movement or logot associated ase teolke কিছু সময়ৰ কাৰণে সময়ৰ পৰা এটো ইউনিকটা শব্দটো ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰি আছে but again predominantly language if a large part of the world is using lengikta then I mean the word sexuality, the word lengikta, the word yonikta, all of them are equally alien to people we are talking to here মানে এসব শব্দ mainstream মানে ইমান ট্যাবু আছে ইমান স্টিগমা এসোসিয়েটেড এই শব্দবোৰ বা এই কনসেপ্টবোৰৰ লগত ৰিলেটেড that it is very difficult to translate and then there is so much politics associated with it also. So sometimes they keep saying ki for example gender je অসমীয়াত আমাৰ জেন্ডাৰৰ কাৰণে শব্দই নাই মানে it is ling is essentially sex. Even in Hindi we do not have a word for gender and then do we want to say something like so another word that is used by some feminists is hamajik ling, but today we also say that sex is a social construct. Then how do you understand gender as hamajik ling and then how do you call sex as link. So language becomes so much more complicated, and you're very right, it's extremely tough to translate into a regional language, and sometimes I think that it's okay.
And
I
there's
don't.
and there's also a problem with, say, with using yonic
Yeah.
because why would you want to link desire to the sexual organ, right?
Yeah, and even like language, for that matter, it is also, and why would you want to then link it to the male, the person, the
Yeah.
organ that is perceived as belonging to the man? Then
Yes.
you completely make sexuality about the man, right?
Yes,
Which is
absolutely.
very, matlab, it's completely
Absolutely.
comes from the patriarchal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Could you tell us again something about your negotiations with feminism and femininity? Because I know that in the same article you did talk about, for example, wanting to wearing nail polish or dancing or high heels. It's very interesting that you like to occupy that interstitial space, but also trying to blur boundaries. But also your negotiations with feminism, since you also work with an organization. What has your experience been, both professionally and personally?
Yeah. So I and it is almost funny to say that I discovered, or like I bumped into feminism before I bumped into gender. So for me, like the whole exploration of my exploration of my gender has been through feminism. So a lot of trans people that often meet say that I knew I was trans, like I was since I was 3 years old or like 4 years old. I bachpan se pata tha. I did not know that I knew I was different, but nobody told me how to be a girl and nobody told me how to be a boy. So I never learned. So I have been like this throughout. And in fact, my mother asks me today, why do you, matlab, you've always been like this? It's okay, you don't need to get married. You can be whatever. Like, what is this? What is this? Why is this reclamation of this identity so important? And I think it is my because I am constantly disaffirmed. The moment I say, um, somebody sees me even like this, they will assume I'm a woman, right? No, but if I go to the women's washroom, they will still beat me up, or okay, not beat me up, but they will still shout at me.
Mm.
I am in their eyes, I am the woman who is transgressive, and for me, associating with my gender identity is to transgress from that. Kid, you do not get to put a label on me.
Yeah.
I will do it myself.
Right. Right.
So, which is where my I also place myself in my gender, and so like for example, certain things like putting nail polish is not actually like transgression for me. I genuinely like doing it,
Right. Right.
right? So I like certain colors, because I work with a lot of young boys, and I know that a lot of young boys love wearing mehndi and nail paint, and these are all like cis het men in the very like, and I know like I have these close guy friends, and all of us have these nail paint wearing nights. So we'll be like, "Acha, tum aaj mera nail paint karo, main tumhara nail paint karega." That's what we do, and all of us really like doing it. And that is also like a bonding factor for us. So for me, this is not transgression. It's not. It is doing things that I like.
Right.
The fact that these have been labeled as masculine or feminine is what makes me abnormal,
Right.
right? So as long as we try to create a norm, there will always be something that will be abnormal.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. So what was the question? I just went.
No, it was about your relationship with feminism and the organization where you work.
Yeah. So also, yeah. So my exploration of my gender has come through feminism, and like my journey through feminism has been like amazing. But at the same time, to come to terms with my gender identity has been a little more longer, perhaps because of my uh, because have been in the feminist movement for so long, and for the longest time I actually felt guilty for being identifying as a in the masculinity spectrum or like a trans masculine person, because I thought I'm a traitor to, I am becoming one of the oppressors, and I'm being like a traitor to my people, and which is fortunately I also met quite a few nice trans people within the feminist spaces, which is how I was like, acha, theek hai, let's figure out how do we negotiate it. And it's not easy, because there are feminists who do believe that trans men are traitors to the cause, right? Because you've just joined the oppressor for some reason. I mean, that's a smaller section. But the bigger section is people who do not understand transness, and but that's also like a part of larger society. For most people, transgender is either this third box. You have the male or the man woman, and then you have a other who's the transgender, and somebody you do not understand, you just put into that box and be happy about, like, acha, theek hai, this is not part of us. And again, like, creating the other to very conveniently stay comfortable with yourself. Status quo, don't challenge the status quo, just
Right.
keep all that intact. And even within the feminist spaces, people who are accepting would be like, today we need to welcome men and transgenders into our movement. And I'm like, no, like, trans women are women, trans men are men, and like, you can say we men, women, and those beyond, who do not identify with the binaries. But this whole idea of trans men, women, and transgender just irks me so much. So yeah, so that has been the kind of negotiation within feminist spaces. Also, like, I've fortunately been part of a lot of queer feminist spaces, which has actually allowed me to be do a lot of things, and I've had to find answers for myself, um, in all kinds of things. Actually, even like, um, I think for the longest time, when I was in the women's studies classroom, I did not even find resonances or reflection of my narrative of being an Assamese person within the classroom, let alone being like this gender transgressive person.
Mhm.
Because even in women's studies classroom, the Northeast is seen as either this some exotic matrilineal community, or this conflict ridden community. Is Apart from that, there is no imagination of the Northeast.
Right.
So in fact, even in that, I had to sort of find my own answers, and sort of, that is where I actually started falling in love with research, because I was like, question this, find an answer for this. You have to find constantly keep finding answers. And yeah, and now I work with a feminist organization. They are trying very hard to understand transness, but again, a lot of them work with the same man woman transgender paradigm, which I'm like, but hell no, that's not how it works. um yeah but thanks to thanks to feminism, I also think I have been so much more transgressive in my gender. Like, otherwise probably I would have been like a toxic a trans man,
Hmm.
which would have been because I would have tried. Like, it's always a constant attempt to become, because you want to be accepted, right? Everybody wants to be accepted. Like, nobody wants to be an outlier, or most people wouldn't like want to be an outlier. So in that attempt, I would have been like the most toxic masculine self of myself, I think. So in that way, I think feminism has also helped me a lot to be okay. But at the same time, like, the journey has been so much longer in trying to be comfortable with who I am. But one, actually, my mentor had said me this very long time ago, like some 10, 12 years back, that, you will. life is a chaos, and at one point you will become comfortable with the chaos. I think right now I'm just learning how to become comfortable with the chaos, because I know like there isn't probably going to be that ultimate utopian destination.
Right.
It will be a constantly moving journey, and I have to be ready for that journey, and that the journey is not going to bring any stability in that sense of the term, but it is a constant movement, which is very interesting, because the term hijra also means travel, a traveler.
Right. Right.
So like a lot of these words are queer in so many ways.
Yes. Yes.
Kiran, can I
Yes.
ask something?
Yes.
So, Diti, so in between I'll go on asking in Ohomia, huh?
Yes,
So,
sir.
মোৰ নিজৰে যেতিয়া মোৰ ট্ৰানজিশ্যনত
Mhm,
before transition around in my 30s,
mhm,
I was also ময়ো তেনেকুৱা আছিলো কি মই যেতিয়া মোৰ লগত ট্ৰানজিশ্যন হৈছিলে, so I was very against transition somehow,
hmm,
you know,
hmm.
কি মই কেলে হ'ব লাগে, ভগৱানে যি দিছে সেইটোৱে ভাল ন, আৰু কিয় কৰিব লাগে that এইটো তাৰমানে মোৰ ভিতৰৰ পৰা আহি আছিলে somehow, কাৰণ মই নিচাকে নিজকে একচেপ্ট কৰা নাছিলো, সেইকাৰণে হ'ব পাৰে, কিন্তু মই I was not so transparently, মই নাছিলো ইমান transparently. তোমাৰ কি এক্সপিৰিয়েঞ্চ তোমাৰ নিজৰ পৰা, বিকজ মই নিজে একচেপ্ট কৰা নাছিলো, সেইকাৰণে মই ইমান হেৰি নাছিলো, মোৰ যেতিয়া লগৰ বিলাকে ট্ৰানজিশ্যন কৰিছিলে, তোমাৰ কিবা তেনেকুৱা এক্সপিৰিয়েঞ্চ আছিলে নেকি, তুমি ডিনাই কৰিছিলা নিজৰ ট্ৰান্স আইডেন্টিটিটোৰ কাৰণে?
মই কেতিয়াও ডিনাই এজ চাচ কৰা নাই. I think for a lot of people who use medical transition has its own drawbacks, like in the sense medically there can be a lot of mishaps, and people who use hormones, people who undergo medical transition are aware that you jodi binder continuous use kora hoy kenekwa type of problems hobo pare, ba lifetime hormones use korile there are certain kinds of problems that can happen to your body, and which happens if you're using BP medicines for lifelong. You know that there are certain problems, side effects of those BP medicines also. Similarly, there are side effects for hormone injections that can arise, and I think most people who are doing transition are aware of that. And but for me, I don't think it is more it's not a right now it's not a confusion. It was not a confusion. I don't think I was confused ever. Kinto at one, I know, like at one point I had this, like I shared, more at a sense of guilt asile, that if why do I want to be a man, why do I want to identify with masculinity, which is basically oppressing so many people. That was the only sense of guilt. I never have a problem with my identity as such. I don't know if that makes sense. I was not feeling guilty of being trans. I was feeling guilty of being a man who has been an oppressor for so many people. I don't know if that makes sense.
মই এইটো কোৱা নাই কি মোৰ গিল্টি লাগিছিলে, কিন্তু মই একচেপ্ট কৰা নাছিলো নিজকে।
No, I don't
মই
think
একচেপ্ট কৰা নাছিলো।
more I think hetu problem হোৱা নাছিলে. So মানে yeah, it took me time, because I think also by the time I was coming to terms with my gender, bahut terms by identities amar সন্মুখত আছিলে, no? So like we had to be we could be gender queer, we could be gender fluid, so to also sort of find a term that I was most comfortable with, because also like for unlike a lot of trans masculine persons, I think I'm also gay. I'm very gay.
আমি আৰু কনফিউজন কৰি দিয়া মানুহক, tell me more about that. So সেইটো অকমান এক্সপ্লেইন কৰি দিয়া, মই যাৰ বুজি পাইছো, কিন্তু মানুহক কৈ দিয়া কি what do you mean by you are trans and you are gay? Tell
Yeah,
us
so
more.
বহুত trans men যেতিয়া সৰু থাকে या फिर when they're teenagers and they're coming to terms with their gender identity, they're usually attracted to women or cis women. মানে also আমি ইমান heterosexual society থাকো ন, তো আমি যদি আমি নিজকে পুৰুষ হিচাপে experience কৰো, অনুভৱ কৰো, then আমাক লাগে কি the person that I'm attracted to, মোৰ আকৰ্ষণ as a মহিলাৰ প্ৰতি হ'ব লাগে। So more for me, I have more or less, I think, throughout been attracted to men. And also, but I'm not attracted to all kinds of men. I'm very weird. So I keep saying that I like feminine men and I like masculine women. So
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
So but but I am mostly attracted to men. So so for especially মই যেতিয়া trans men community to বিষয়ে জানি গম পাইছিলো, then everybody in that community was only attracted to women. সেইকাৰণে the moment I said ki I'm attracted to men, more মানে validity of being a man, of being part of the community just goes down, because like how কিন্তু পিছত অলপ গুগল কৰি যেটা গুগল ইউটিউব বা গুগল বেছি মোৰ accessible হল, তেতিয়া মই actually mostly US or পৰা trans men narratives I used to keep googling, and then I found that there are other trans men who are gay or other trans masculine people who are also attracted to men or like they're bisexual.
And
Yeah.
in my circle, 8 out of 10
Yeah.
out of 10 are gay, or they are dating trans men, dating another trans man.
Yeah. So yeah,
মোৰে ভয় লাগি
exactly.
গৈছিলে, মই অপোজিট তোমাৰ। আৰে মই অলৱেজ হাই হিল ভাল পাওঁ, লিপষ্টিক এণ্ড হাই হিল মোৰতো টেনচন হৈ গৈছিলে, if I start liking muscle. But I have to say that কি যেতিয়া হৰমন লৈছিলো, then you started seeing muscles. মই আগৰ পৰাই টম চেলিকক ভাল পাইছো, I like Tom Selleck. But I wanted to be Tom Selleck, not that I want to be with somebody. I wanted to be Tom Selleck and with the mustache. Unfortunately হেতুটো নাহিলে কেতিয়াও, কিন্তু but I started noticing muscles. তোমাৰ তেনেকুৱা হৈছিলে নে?
Noticing muscles, I don't know. But also, like, I'm not on hormones, so I don't know. But like you said, for example, I really like Ranveer Singh. He's a very problematic actor, but I'm a huge Ranveer Singh fan. So I keep saying that I want to be Ranveer Singh and I want to be with Ranveer Singh. So like I'm also attracted to people who are like me. And I don't know, like that is almost some narcissistic kind of attraction that I have probably. But yeah, more আকৰ্ষণো তেনেকে সেই ধৰণে মানে men who are not very macho. And also Ranveer Singh is very fascinating to me because like there are I don't know if you've seen those pictures of Ranveer Singh. He'll wear a skirt and come like a long skirt with embroideries, and then he'll wear like nose ring, and someday he actually after his marriage he wore sindoor and came. I mean, he's so transgressive in so many ways. So which is why I was like, I want to be Ranveer Singh and I want to be with Ranveer Singh. So yeah. So but because
এইটো সময়তে I want the Nazari team to share the link I sent, because I wanted to show you that, and I wanted to see tomorrow. Maybe you will like this. Have you seen this guy? He is a straight manu hoy, and he's a father, he's in a heterosexual relationship. তুমি photo কিখন change কৰাচোন, he wear high heel আৰু muscle চাবাটা, আৰু he 4 বছৰ he এনেকা কাপোৰ পিন্ধি আছে ধুনীয়াকৈ, next I think তুমি খুব ভাল পাবা চাই পেলাই, And I wish ki ahomoto jodi kunba iman gats ase jodi koribo parile hoy.
I know.
Ha, ami manuhok okon confuse koribo parilu hoy. Dekhise na etu soa high heel to sweater dekhetor. So that, and he doing it for last 4 years. Amar sage kunba aita faint to hoy jabo pare sai pele.
Oh, you actually, I went to somebody's wedding and I was wearing a dhoti. And, a friend of ours, I was wearing a dhoti, and one Aita there went like, "Enekwa kapur kyo pindisa?" I was so uncomfortable. I was like, "More kahat." I think Pooja bohi asile, and Pooja said, "Bhal pae kane pindise." Kintu enekwa kapur nipinde nohoy. Mog das Pooja said, "Ajikali pindhe diok. Bhal pae takam."
So Kiran, translate to you is that she went to some place and a grandmother asked, she wore dhoti. And grandmother asked, why are you wearing such clothes?
Okay.
So her friend finally said that nowadays, people can wear whatever they feel like.
Oh,
So we are talking about this whole dress.
right.
So, again, back to you.
Yeah,
Back
sorry.
to you.
Okay. So, I did read, that short book that you wrote for Zuban called Nations, Communities, Conflict, and Queer Lives.
Mhm.
And I really liked the way, I mean, I'm assuming that was entirely your own creativity, because you kind of told the stories of these different people in the form of poems.
Yeah.
And I like that idea a lot. So, I mean, if you could just tell us something about why you kind of thought of the poem, for example, as a form, as opposed to, let's say, a short story or a snippet, and why, what is it about stories that illustrate queer lives?
So, yeah, think that, today's stories are so important because, in a way, all of us, as people are starting to get or recognize queer rights, people want to create an idea of what is this queer person, right? So just like I was saying, this is idea to be a trans person. So for example, I know how I know that trans men have been denied, for instance, GID certificates in India because they were attracted to men.
Yes.
And which is also one of the reasons I am really apprehensive about going through this whole medical transition, because I do not want to be like disaffirmed every time I try because of, being another sort of different, right?
Right.
Because which is why the importance of queer narratives. Like I was saying, like when when I found the trans men community, I did not find anybody who was gay, and I did not find. I did not know any, and I think this is a discussion that we were having with Milind also the other day with the Junaki Porwa film, and we did not know the existence of trans people in Assam. And for me, like, the word hijra is Bihari. And I've also grown up in the 90s Assam when Bihari was a gali. If you're an Assamese, Bihari means a gali. So, like, it is so alienating. Which is why I think there I also felt that, narratives, more stories is the way, is how to make queer narratives visible, basically queer lives more visible. And why did I choose poetry? Because so I am basically from academics, and right now I'm doing my PhD, and I'm finding it really difficult to do my PhD because there is also a certain idea of how you do academics, how you write academics. And this is not seen as the paper that you've read will probably not be seen as academic, right? And it will not pass for a thesis, for instance. And I wanted to move away from like, my thesis is also largely on the same topic, and this is actually one portion of my thesis. And there had to be one space where I had where I did not want to be bound by these rules of academics. And Zuban was very wonderful in giving me that space to sort of
Yeah.
write it in other ways, which is why and when I spoke to these people, a lot of their narratives stayed in my head as poems, because and these are not like, each poem is not the story of one person, they are just
Right.
different people, and they stayed and they stayed to me in the form of poem. And also I wanted to sort of break the um, linearity of text.
Right.
I did not want it to be in one idea of the text also, so sort in a way querying the text.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I thought so much when I was writing it, but now that I keep thinking about it, it's coming to me. But like, yeah, I really believe in the idea of bringing out more narratives in different ways. And I do think that poetry is also like, um, I hate the fact that most of the research that we do in the name of evidence building also almost you need to have sob stories of violence of queer people, right? That is the only way like our queer lives are valid. I've been asked in a place in a university, like premium in university space, that तुम क्या खुद को ट्रांस समझता है, ट्रांस लोगों को दिन में 35 बार रेप होना पड़ता है. That is the kind of things that we are told in the classroom.
Yeah.
And like, your queer identity or trans identity is only valid till it is um, one of violence.
Right.
So which is, and I think in lot of those stories I wanted to break away from that violent narrative. It is not like the violence has been erased away,
Right.
but there is so much more dimension to queer lives than just violence, and which is why I love Milen's film also. Like, it is so much, like there's so many dimensions to it, and the more I think about it, there's like, I just keep thinking, oh my god.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think some of your narratives also did a very good job in showing how, yeah, questions of intimacy are also linked with violence. I mean, it's not, you can't completely separate the two, but yes,
Yeah.
there's a very intimate connection.
Yeah, as feminists, we keep saying love and violence are two sides of the same coin.
Right.
And I mean, like, that is what kink is also about, right?
Yes.
Like, violence and love, power
Yes.
and love and violence and fantasies are just like so
Yes.
intrinsic to each other.
Yes. There was an earlier session in this series on Thursday where I had interviewed another person, a woman, a cis woman who is a theater practitioner. She's also taught English for law for a long time at Stella Maris in Chennai. And there were some trans women who were also part of the discussion. And one of the trans women was talking about how she had started a shelter for trans men, and she was talking about how she had created this alternative family where
Yeah.
they thought of her as a mother or as a sister, and the fact that there were lots of intimacies also between trans men and trans women.
Yeah.
So which I think is also very interesting.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, and I think there's also this other feminist. I'm not sure if you've heard of her, called uh, 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 Afsane Najmatullah, who is an Iranian feminist, and she has done a lot of interesting work on exactly what you're talking about, like where gender does not correspond with sexuality, where you have people who are trans men who want to be with men and vice versa. And so like the court and the state were very confused. They're like,
Yeah.
what do you really want? Like, this is not, you can't have it all, basically.
Exactly.
You have to reinstate some form of heterosexuality, right? And the binary.
Yeah.
Yes. The other quick thing I wanted to ask you also is about, in what ways do you think we can make our queer spaces more inclusive? Because you have made comments about, you have talked about pride marches especially. So, what do you think are some of the challenges and problems that we face in terms of our own prejudices and limitations?
Yeah, I think the pride marches that we see today is also it almost becomes like it is so it's much lesser about a protest, it is much lesser about the queer people.
Yeah.
Then and it is more about your love and my love is the same love. It's not necessarily same, like heterosexual people's, or like at least straight love is not the same as queer love. I do not think it is the same as queer love. It is different because everything around you is different. Like, um, and it's the more you want to get acceptance from like the outside, the more you will have to create a certain idea of the queer. You will have to domesticize the queer, like you were saying. You cannot have it all.
Yes.
You will have to like so you will have to either be the other the transgender. You will remain the problem. You will have to be the other who will also either get rights from the welfare state, or you will have the or you will be the bichara transgender who
Right.
will be on the outside. Like, there is no other way to be the right kind of transgender. Or in the same way, like, if you want queer rights, you will have to want marriage equality, and there is no, you will have to want marriage equality, and then you will have you will have to have want only monogamy. There is
Yes.
no other way of
Yes. Yes.
and you will have to be, and that is the kind of imagery that prides also almost promote, because that is what is going to sell.
Right.
And when you have to get the corporates in, when you have to make like big prides with like 20,000 people marching, and you need to have like you need to also have then lakhs of rupees. Where will the lakhs, the bigger your pride is, the more glossy your pride is, the more money you will need.
Exactly.
And when this money comes in, they will not give it to people who challenge them.
Yeah.
They will not give it to people who challenge the state, or the idea of what is the right kind of citizen. They will not give it to outliers. They will give it to
Yes.
somebody who is willing to be bitara to get rights.
Yeah.
So if, as long as we create pride marches with the imagination that we are going to get ask for acceptance from people, I don't think we will be able to create a kind of inclusive queer march.
Right. Right.
Pride march.
Yes. Just one last question before we turn to the audience, which is that you have written and you've done some work on online spaces, and so I was actually interested in knowing whether you think, especially even before the pandemic, but more so also during the pandemic, do you think that online spaces have, in some sense, created alternative spaces for queer people to express themselves in some way, created new new collaborations, new intimacies, or do you think it has also been quite regressive in certain ways?
I think the online space is also a reflection of like the offline society, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we live our life. It's so when the online space initially started out, like a lot of queer people could live their lives only through the online space. Like for instance, completely, and it allowed for anonymity. A lot of the people who started initially as trans also were gamers. They would have
Yes.
avatars who were
Very interesting.
uh, of the gender that they wanted
Very
to
interesting.
be accepted in.
Mm.
And yeah, so like it did offer a lot of space for a lot of transgression. Even today it does, I think also. But with the amount of surveillance that we have today, I think it becomes very tricky terrain. But then again, queer lives are constantly anyway surveilled. Like whether you are inside the family or you're on the roads, your life is anyway so surveilled that it is to find that to find that little bit of intimacy, to find that little bit of love, to find that little bit of acceptance, you are willing to forego that uh, surveillance that you are constantly subjected to,
Right.
because it is a choice you make, I think. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Diti. Okay, so now the audience, you may unmute yourself, ask questions in Assamese or English, or you can type in the chat box. So any comments or questions from anyone? You can raise your hand, ask questions, or chat or type anything.
So yeah, I was really nervous about this whole thing, but Milind made it fun. Thank you, Milind. I mean, you had really intelligent questions, but like Milind just, you know.
কাৰণ মোৰ বোধেৰে কি আমি দুজনেই transgender and to imagine মোৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত to imagine that কি in my lifetime we will have a public forum, we will create a public forum, we will openly talk about, and for me I feel proud that কি আমি এইটো কৰিব পাৰিছো, you know, and আমি এনেকুৱা taboo subject বা we want to talk about because they are not taboo, you know, we are proud of who we are, you know, let's talk about you know, difficult things and people who feel uncomfortable, হয় নে নহয়?
Yeah.
And I think তোমাৰ আৰু মোৰ আমাৰ দায়িত্ব হৈছে to make people uncomfortable.
Exactly. I wanted to just when you said to me that daitto boli kola more now if Milind says tomar aru more daitto manhok educate kora, I was like, please don't say that. I don't think queer lives are the responsible for educating people, but
Yeah.
I think you're very right. It's our duty to sort of make people uncomfortable while being ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And I really actually like this idea that it's, and I think from the discomfort, if it allows people to move, I think it makes a lot of difference.
There is
Go ahead, Kiran, go ahead.
no, there's one question which is that what message would you like to convey, Diti, through your nail polish?
I'm not conveying any message. I really like the nail polish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like nail paint. Yeah, I love color, and also like I am. I think so. A lot of I think I also, when I wear nail paints, I will wear the most brightest colors because I really like bright colors. I'm honestly not trying to convey a message.
Right.
So tell me about your boyfriend. You did not, you know, or your partner. You did not introduce us, or tell us a little bit more and how your relationship go আছে, you know. কাৰণ বহুতে সেইটো কথা নাজানে, কাৰণে সেইটো কথা
Yeah.
not because your relationship, but that like trans man liking another trans man or gay.
Yeah.
সেইটো কথা
Yeah. So my partner's name is V. I will not say the full name because I don't know, because I don't have their consent. I will not share their full name. So we've been together for 2.5 years, a little more than 2.5 years. We'll be together. It will be 3 years in March. We met each other through the movement space. Both of us identify feminist. We lived in the same house. He's a trans man. He identifies as a trans man. For him, I think also it was very confusing initially when he was attracted to me, because he was like, "Aise kaise ho sakta hai? Mane, I'm a trans man. I should be attracted to women," because we don't see like you know, like alternative narratives. And in fact, I think when you met him, you said ki, you know, a lot of your trans men friends are gay, and which is when he started googling ki, how many trans men in the US are gay. Because also, like, when I was entering the trans men space, like I just ran away from that space because I was like, I don't fit in here. He likes that space. He wants to be in that space with the different person that he is, with being like not your macho masculine types, with liking how to cook, and with doing all of that, and with being a trans masculine person. He wants to be in the trans man space. I ran away from it because I just ran away. I just did not see myself fitting in there. So he actually does face a lot of questions. In fact, a lot of his friends keep saying ki bhabhi kaisi hai, and then he has to keep explaining. And because I pick up a fight with, why are you friends with people who call me bhabhi? How dare you? So he has to constantly keep explaining. I don't want to explain people. I don't try too hard to explain it to people. I just give up. He but keeps trying to explain all the time. We can't hear you, Milind. You're on mute.
মোৰ লগত কিছুমান এনেকে ফ্ৰেণ্ড আছে who are মোৰ লগত মানে যোনে মোৰ বহুত আগতে ট্ৰানজিশন কৰিছিলে মিনিয়াপলিছত, and then he happened to be very handsome. He was very beautiful as a girl, and now he's very handsome as a trans man, but he's always very negative. He's always poor me, poor transgender, me poor, I do not have a penis, and whatever, all that, poor me. So it is very nice to see you. I'm also transgender, more kind of identity. Oh, now I feel more comfortable. I do not have my boobs and all that. Nobody looks, I just go ahead and nobody move bar ghuri nasai. Nole train not ba jetia bathroom use koribo lage mo kaku, now we do not kunbai mu maribole nahe, mo anamse khumai jao kuneu nasai. So that was in a way, দেখিবলৈ চকিবলৈ বৰ একে, খালি মোৰ ভইচটো অকণ চেঞ্জ হৈ গ'ল, বেছি ইমান হেৰি নাই. But it became a relief for me. For me that I am doing a favor to people because so that they more bare bare ঘুৰি নাচায় মোৰ ফালে, হয় নে নহয়? I feel aligned, like come on, I know who I am. So but I feel quite a lot of trans men, though transition হৈ যায়, কোনেও চাগে বাহিৰৰ পৰা দেখিলে গমো নাপায়, they're like big, muscle, handyman and whoa. But still they're very depressed because certain part they do not go through the whole, and specifically in US, specifically in US, transition তুমি বহুত লেভেলত হ'ব পাৰে। তুমি ব্ৰেষ্ট ৰিমুভ কৰিব পাৰা বা নকৰিব পাৰা, তুমি হিষ্টৰিক হ'ব পাৰে, হিষ্টেৰেক্টমি অৰ ওভাৰি ৰিমুভ কৰিব পাৰা বা নকৰিব পাৰা, and less than 20% actually have reconfirmation surgery. বহুত কমে ৰিফৰ্মেশ্যন চাৰ্জাৰীজ কৰে। কিন্তু ইন ইণ্ডিয়াত আহিলে প্ৰথমে মানুহে সেইটোও সোধে ৰিকনফাৰ্মেশ্যন চাৰ্জাৰী, as if everybody is, it is their business to see what part of private parts I have. They're so curious and they think that is the first thing to ask. Anyway, so hope that people will more and more informed that that's a very private question whether people want to have that or not. But more question to এইটোৱে কি বহুত তাত দেখিছো যাৰ all the way surgery নহয়, কিছুমানৰ বহুত সেইটো লৈ পেলাই ডিপ্ৰেছন থাকে। So what is তোমাৰ তাৰ ওপৰত কি opinion, like what do you think, or India, Dalit or trans men that তুমি লগ পাইছা, what is their mental health thing regarding their body or surgeries and stuff?
Surgery কৰাৰ প্ৰেছাৰ থাকে, নাথাকা নহয়, আৰু এই কাৰণেও থাকে কিয়নো with the kind of laws that we have, the laws are also insisting that we undergo surgery, as if because there is constant মানে এই যোনটো বক্স ক্ৰিয়েট কৰি থৈছে ন of man and woman, that shouldn't be challenged. Now you pass because you don't make people uncomfortable, because which is why you are a relief to people. But but the moment you make yourself uncomfortable, then people will be like, then people will put you in the other box, but you're not part of us. So and not everybody wants to go through that constant, like it is difficult. So মানুহেও নিবিচাৰে যে সদায় প্ৰশ্নৰ উত্তৰ কে তু লড়কা হে কি লড়কি হে, ऐसा क्यों दिखता है, वैसा क्यों दिखता है, ये वो, like people don't want to go through that kind of questioning all the time, and it does affect your mental health. I mean, also we live in very bad times, like everything around us is bad. Like you have this constant pressure to perform in all kinds of things, like the capitalist world demands that you have to be efficient in this way only. You have to be a good person only if you do these things, then you're a good citizen of the country, then you're a good person, you're a productive person. If you cannot meet these targets, you cannot meet these deadlines, if you cannot do this, then you're not good enough. Like, your value as a person, your is not is then is constantly counted by how much work you do, how many targets you meet, how many how much money you have, how much. So in when you're constantly running around these things, or you are constantly forced to be around these things, there is bound to be like mental health issues. uh, in fact, I have been in and I don't speak about this as often, but and I don't hide about it also. It's just that I don't speak about it so much. I've been in therapy for over like 4 5 years now, on and off, and almost continuous therapy for a year now. And it helps me keep grounded. So I do it. And at one point I had very severe depression. I still have major anxiety issues. I was in fact telling Kiran about that in the morning, and I almost got a little snappy at him. Um, but yeah, like, the mental health issues are part of a lot of people's lives, be it queers, if you're trans, for example, যদি তোমার every moment, if you মই কি কাপোৰ পিন্ধিম, মই কি কোনটো বাথৰুমত যাম, মোক কিমানটা মানুহে আজি মিছজেণ্ডাৰ কৰিব, সেইকাৰণে মই তাৰ কাৰণে মই কেনেকে প্ৰিপেয়াৰ কৰিম, if your life is constantly you're negotiating around that, it becomes so much more difficult. আৰু মানে আজি অফিসত গৈ পেলাই বছে মোক কি কব, কিমানটা ডেডলাইনস মই মিস ইন দিস ফৰ ইনস্টেন্স ইন দিস লকডাউন, মানে অফিসত গলে 8 ঘন্টা, আমিতো 8 ঘন্টাৰ প্ৰত্যেকটো মিনিট কাম কৰি নাথাকো ন, কিন্তু এতিয়া যেহেতু আমি ঘৰত আছো লকডাউনত, it almost feels like we have to be accountable for every 8 hours, every minute of the 8 hours that we are supposed to be working. And it is really stressful, like extremely stressful. And so, like, we live in a world that is creating mental health issues and then giving us medicines for mental health issues in the name of curing us. First, the world is only creating the problems, and then the world wants to cure us. And then we are stuck in this whole cycle of capitalism is creating mental health issues, and then capitalism is giving us medicines to cure us from our mental health issues. So we are constantly stuck in this trap of, yeah.
Diti, there are a couple of questions. One is, whether you think this narrative of victimhood, do you think that helps certain trans people in coping with social pressure?
I don't personally have a problem with the with the narrative of victimhood, because that is the only way you get acceptance, probably. Yeah, and it does help, I think, people to sort of if you live in a welfare state, that is the only way you sort of get recognition for like your marginalization, right? Otherwise, through dignity, it's very difficult to ask for rights in a way when we live in such a welfare minded society. So yeah, I think I personally don't have a problem with people claiming victimhood, but I think also victimhood can be claimed in so many ways.
Yes. Yes.
And reclaimed in so many ways. Yeah.
There's another question from Kashmira who asks, what kinds of discrimination have you faced because of your gender identity at your workplace?
I don't know if discrimination is so systemic also, right? Sometimes we don't even realize that it is discrimination. Like the fact that that I have to that everybody else does not have to share their pronouns, but I have to, is itself discrimination. The fact that like, you know, if everybody else can have their Zoom names as their name, and they don't need to add their pronouns, and people will still refer to them by their probably right pronouns. Whereas I will add my pronouns, I will introduce my pronouns, and yet I will be misgendered. Um, it's itself that itself is discrimination, which we don't realize, right? Or for instance, that um, we do not have like I have to spend extra uh, half an hour in the morning after waking up to prepare myself mentally. I can't wear these clothes because then I will be perceived as a woman, and then I have to make that fight. I have to prepare myself for the fight. Do I want to do I need to pick up a fight with people today? Do I want to pick up a fight with today? Like I sent you a piece today, the mornings for Mia Queer. Like every morning, I have to spend half an hour deciding ki how much of how do I want to dress up today so that like I do not want like have the spotlight on me. How many people do I want to pick up a fight with who will misgender me? Or do I want to just be like, it's okay, call me madam, call me Didi, and I'm like, fine, I will deal with it myself. That is the kind of discrimination which happens every day, and we just do not notice.
Yeah.
It's more systemic than saying ki, you are transgender, we will not accept you as transgender. Or you are we will not accept you as a man, or we will not give you will not give you a promotion because you are you identify like this. That's not the kind of discrimination that happens. Often doesn't happen like that.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the audience? You can we have time for one or two questions. Any more?
I see some teacher over here. A school, you know, it would be nice to have some question for the teacher because they may have.
I think Bubbly has a question. Bubbly, do you want to ask a question? Bubbly? Bubbly, your hand is raised. Do you have a question? Okay. Anybody else has a question? Milan, were you saying somebody has a question?
No, I see my friend there who is a teacher, because I was just wondering if they have any question, because Azikali they see, because nowadays there are more people, more you know, people or young students are gender fluid. So our DT tomaloke kiba you know, course korisa niki where the teacher could be more used to gender fluidity. সেইটো এটা কোৱেশ্চন আৰু এটা কোৱেশ্চন আছে যে তোমালোকে এতিয়া বহুত কাম কৰিলা, তুমিতো বহুত জানা জেণ্ডাৰ ফ্লুইড, এতিয়া আমি ট্ৰান্সজেণ্ডাৰৰ কাৰণে অসমত কি কৰিব পাৰো একেলগে? what is your dream or vision?
Yeah, like I don't I'm not sure. I mean, there are a couple of things that we can definitely do. Like some very concrete, tangible things that we can do is, you know, ask for whatever transgender welfare board that is being set up to be more inclusive. We can ask, we can write to them, we can say, like, you know, schools should have probably like things like gender neutral uniforms. People can I know of schools who have who all where every student wears the same uniform irrespective of their gender, and so yeah, we or at least have not one transgender toilet or one gender neutral toilet. That just is obnoxious. That just basically marks the student who wants to use that space, and then everybody in the school can say, "Here, tum aisa hai kya?" So I think we should try and at least save spaces, spaces which are more controlled, which are like, for instance, schools and colleges can have more gender neutral spaces. Our society is so gender segregated. Everything is just segregated into man and woman. We need to imagine more gender neutral spaces, have hostels which are more gender neutral, have like, and especially spaces where there can be accountability. So people say we need gender segregated spaces because we want to protect the women, but most of the most of the violence that women face are in their homes. So you're not really protecting women. You just want to protect women from outside men, and you are you are excluding everybody in the process. So at least spaces where you can have accountability of the violence. For example, schools are definitely spaces where you can have accountability of the violence. College are workspaces are places where you can have accountability of the violence. In such spaces, you should aim for to create like more gender neutral spaces in terms of toilets, in terms of residential spaces. The more segregation also leads to more toxic masculinity, I think.
Yeah.
I think boys locker rooms are such a big problem because they just create men who are mean, and anybody who's different in that locker room is bitara like beaten up to become that toxic man. So the more gender segregated spaces we create, the more toxic we make men, and the more uninclusive societies we create, I think. So yeah, especially in schools and colleges, so I definitely think we can make more gender neutral spaces and workspaces. We can definitely make um, allow people to be different. Yeah, like like difference has to be celebrated.
So DT, আমার যদি স্কুলত কোনোবা তুমি তোমাৰ এডভাইচ টু এ
Hmm.
টিচাৰ
Hmm.
যোনটো টিচাৰ মেবি ইন এ গাঁও বা য'তে
Hmm.
আছে,
Hmm.
যদি জানে যে এজন maybe different who
Yeah.
somebody if they have a student who doesn't identify as a man or woman, and she could understand that okay এজন অকমান different,
Hmm.
তেওঁৰ কাৰণে কি advice, what advice would you
Yeah.
have to the teacher who might have a gender queer student?
Yeah. So I think a lot of trans people, এটাও যদি support system পায় life or they can overcome a lot of things. They can survive a lot of things if they find one supportive teacher, they find one supportive uh, like an adult, some supportive space. A lot of us have only survived because we've had that one or two people who did not understand our gender maybe, but just understood that this person is different, and if that person wanted to cry, let them cry. If that person had to be protected from other people's beating, protect them. So I mean, you don't even like sometimes you don't even, and the moment somebody is transgressive in terms of their gender or in terms of other things, we don't need to mark that person as transgender, right? Let them be different, it's okay. just just provide them just tell people that it's okay to be different. And if that person, and if you are in a position of power, if you're a teacher, if you can talk to people in your society, if you are in such a position, then help that bacha survives in their families, in their schools, in their neighborhoods where they might be facing violence.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, there is a related question.
Yeah.
How does one introduce queer topics in a classroom as a teacher?
So it depends on what kind of schools you come from, right? And obviously, like what kind of demographics that the students also come from. A lot of students, especially if you go to an international school, or if you go to one of those more elite schools, and students have access to the internet, so they know like these. So my friends were doing a training for a very elite school today, and the kids were like so bad. Like they will and this is, and they were ganging up against like the whole trainers. They were ganging up against trainers to ask questions like, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, कोई किसी को कुछ भी बता देंगे तो वो हम मान लेंगे क्या, हम नहीं मानेंगे. So it's not even a question of it's not even curiosity. How is this like this, and how can somebody be different like this? It's okay. Agar, just because you are saying we will accept, which is not, I mean, you shouldn't obviously accept anything that is being said, but also like the teachers have to be the mediators in you know, who when somebody is sharing their experience, listen to that experience, like create a sense of empathy. I think the big role that teachers can do is create a sense of empathy. I think as human beings, we are losing our humanness. We do not have empathy for each other. We're just like, if somebody is different, just beat that person up. And this is such a masculinist patriarchal way of being also, no? He mold everyone into becoming these you know, like once in a certain mold, and do not let difference be. I think as teachers, if you can instill um, empathy onto people, I think a lot of problems can be solved. Like the students in your class do not need to understand that you are trans, or even the bacha does not need to understand that they are trans. They will not understand. It's okay. You don't need to have that language. You need to say that this is okay. Like being different is okay. That is not allowed in our societies so much. And like, you know, certain things like questioning is okay. We are constant as young people, I think, as children, I think we ask so many questions, and as adults we just want answers. It is not it's okay to ask just questions, you know, and then and not sometimes not have concrete answers. As adults, you don't need to have all the answers. You need to encourage people to ask questions.
I don't know if you have watched this video, which is a very fantastic video, which a cousin shared of mine on WhatsApp. It's a video from the 1960s or 70s, where a white woman, a teacher, she is trying to tell her students what racial discrimination means, and they're all like 6, 7, they're small children. And what she does is she divides the class into groups, and she tells them that those who are blue-eyed and blonde-haired will be privileged from henceforth, and those who do not have those colors will help the others do their homework, serve them, help them. And she actually makes them go through the experience of what it means to be, and then she switches roles also. Those who are blonde and blue-eyed will now serve the others. So she actually tells them what it means. Like, now do you think, because these kids don't really know. I mean, they don't know the fascism. They don't know all these things. But she makes them go through certain, what seems to them, absolutely random experiences of discrimination. They're like, why should I do his homework? Why should I help him with this? Why should I, help pick up his pencil? Actually makes them, forces them to go through the experience of discrimination to teach them how to be empathetic. So you can actually, these teachers can actually do role playing in class, make them, behave like a trans person. What you want, what you think of as being what you understand by being trans, right? And of course, that will bring up a lot of stereotypes, gender stereotypes. So you have to kind of, but you need to expose it somewhere to start, from some point.
Yeah. Like some of the things that we do is one of the things that we do is power walk. So you imagine yourself in the shoes of a person, and usually we do it in supposing identities that people understand.
Right.
So for example, if you are I don't know if people know the power walk exercise, but you make everybody stand in a line, give them different identities, and then ask them a set of questions to basically assess ki, acha, if you if will you be able to do this easily or will you not? So you go ahead or you go back, and then so that is a very I think, but also like your video also reminded me of another video that I was watching, and where like boys and girls were made to do basically do certain tasks, and they were given rewards, and for the same thing the boys were given lesser than the girls,
right?
And then they said, but this is not fair, and then they were like, basically to talk about wage gap and how patriarchy works, etc.,
Yes,
etc.
yes. There is a question from Bubbly who says that she has a cousin called
Also,
Guna.
just a
Yes,
second, can I
yes.
add this? Somebody has said, thank you, Diti ma'am and sir. I am not
Oh,
sure who you're
yes,
calling ma'am. Please do not call me ma'am. This is
yes,
the whole session has been about that.
yes,
And this is the least that you can
yes,
take away
yes,
from this
yes, yes, yes,
is.
yes. Yeah, so there's a question from Bubbly who says that she has a cousin called Guna
Hmm.
who is very effeminate. And
Yeah.
his friends and his mother make fun of him, but he ignores them. But sometimes he feels bad, and I don't talk to him much, so I don't know what to basically. How do I help him? I'm not
Hmm.
sure about his identity. We never talk openly.
You don't need to talk about his identity per se. If he is, for example, if he behaves like woman, and if maybe you can like become friends with him. If if you can maybe talk about things that both of you like. Maybe if he likes wearing dresses, maybe you can discuss dresses, or
Yes,
nail polish laga bhi nahi ki
yes,
types.
exactly,
And maybe then
exactly,
uh, start
exactly.
having a conversation. Maybe he will find that safe space in you, and eventually if he might come I mean, it might not even identify as trans or anything. It might just be, lot of boys like it also, like
Right,
generally like it,
right,
and if he does also, that is also fine.
right.
And if his mother is saying something, and if you think you can talk to his mother, just say ki um pehi ba khuri um কৰিব দিয়কচোন, একো নহয় দিয়ক. Something like sweetly like that, maybe, I don't know. Depends on.
And did you also maybe discussing some movies like Danny's Girl or
Yeah.
Junai Purua, right? I
Yeah,
would
yeah, yeah. No,
would a
Damaged Girl is
movie.
very inaccessible, Milind. Like,
Yes, yes.
yes, but something more accessible, something in him. Even watching like something like, what is this movie? What is that Sonam Kapoor's movie called?
Oh, एक लड़की के देख रहा था.
I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie to have these kind of conversations sometimes. Yeah, like some
Yeah, and uh,
Hindi, Assamese, sometimes Bengali. There are a lot of nice Bengali films. Actually, we can. I'm sure, like we can have share these kind of resources.
So,
Can I ask a
and
question?
Bubbly, sorry.
Can I ask a question? Okay. Hi, Diti. It's a very nice session going on. Lots to learn from you. I have a very simple question. Coming to the school, okay, considering till say around 9th or 10th standard, what is the age where a child can understand he or she is different, or maybe little differently oriented, and kind of I won't say exactly identify, but at least get a sense of the fact that okay, I am different, I need to think about it. So according to you, what should be the age like where a child can be talked seriously about it?
Um, I think children notice difference very early because we are accustomed to notice difference. Sometimes even like you don't. The child themselves might not notice that they're different, but everybody around them makes them feel different, and then they suddenly notice that they're and which is basically discrimination. So everybody around them keeps telling them you're different, and then that difference becomes a sort of discomfort for them. I don't think there is any right
No,
age when people come to know about
yeah,
I
not somebody else telling the child. My question is that when the child himself or herself identify that or get a sense of the fact that okay, not because somebody else is saying that, from within
mm,
starts thinking that, okay, I am made a little differently, so probably I need to think about it, I need to talk about it. That age I'm asking about.
no, there is actually it's very I do there is actually no right age. Some people come to some people experience themselves as being different at the age of 3, 4. Some people come out as trans at the age of, I don't know, like 40, 50, 60, and all of this is valid. Like there is no right age of knowing oneself. Uh, it is whenever that difference is felt is valid.
I mean, even during puberty.
Yeah.
All-
Some people feel it during puberty. Some people have deep discomfort with their puberty. It might be related to gender. It just might be related to like bodily changes happening. So not because like some people put on weight, some people have acne. All of that discomfort is one level, and then some people have discomfort with their periods. Maybe related to your gender, maybe not related to your gender. But there is absolutely no age which is valid. If the child comes to you at the age of 4 and says, "Mummy, I do not want to wear this pant shirt. I want to wear frocks." I think the only thing we can do, and that's a 3, 4 year, 5-year-old bacha says, "I do not want to wear pants. I want to wear frocks." Uh, all we can do is, "Acha, theek hai," support them in that. And if people around him are people around them are making fun of them, create a sort of conducive environment where they can be themselves. Or even if you can negotiate within the school that thing, at least in his house or in their house, they should be able to be the way they are. So people come to know at the age of 3 and 4. Sometimes people come to know at the age of during puberty sometimes, and people come to know like very late in their lives, which all of it is.
Okay, thank you.
There's one last question, Diti. If you could just read it, it's by Mukda. It's a question in Assamese.
Yeah. যদি আমার টিচাৰে আমাক এবনৰ্মেল বুলি কয় ফৰ বিং ডিফাৰেণ্ট, তেন্তে আমি ৰিয়েক্ট কৰিব লাগে নে? মানে অফকোৰ্স আমাৰ সেইটো কথা শুনি ভালটো নালাগিব। ৰিয়েক্ট কৰিব লাগে নে নালাগে, আই মিন আপুনি ডিপেণ্ড কৰে আপুনি কিমান লেভেলৰলৈকে টিচাৰ পজিশ্যনটো এটা পাৱাৰফুল পজিশ্যন হয় ন। চ' if you are a teacher, if a person is a teacher, then you know that person has power in front of you. মানে টিচাৰে আপোনাৰ মাৰ্কস কন্ট্ৰোল কৰিব পাৰে, টিচাৰে আপোনাক পানিশমেন্ট দিব পাৰে, টিচাৰে আপোনাৰ ঘৰত ক'ব পাৰে। তো কিমান কেনেকে আপুনি সেইটো স্পেচত নেগোচিয়েট কৰিব। যদি টিচাৰ গৰাকী অলপ সেনসিটিভ টিচাৰ হয়, ভাল টিচাৰ হয়, মেবি ইউ কেন সে কি মেম আপুনি এবনৰ্মেল প্লিজ, মই এনেকে ভাল পাওঁ, আপুনি প্লিজ এবনৰ্মেল বুলি নকব। কিন্তু কাজিয়া কৰিলে হয়তো টিচাৰে বহুত পিটিব, which will not turn out too well. And if that impacts your marks, the teachers can, I mean, not all teachers are nice. Teachers have been also very a lot of the teachers actually are very discriminatory sometimes, and also teachers are human beings, they are part of the society. বহুত টাইম তেওঁলোকে আমাক পিটি পিটি ঠিক কৰে। and so কিমান মানে কাজিয়া কৰিলে অলপমান হয়তো আপোনাৰ কাৰণে কষ্ট হ'ব। Obviously it's not nice when a teacher says you're abnormal, but if you pick up a fight, it might not end too well for you. So you have to negotiate it. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. I don't know how to negotiate with teachers. I did not have great relationship with my own teachers. Once Lakshmi Narayan says, when
That's
someone,
just a comment. Yes.
Sorry, I never felt I'm different. I'm normal as you are. I don't know how people react to being people have different ways of negotiating. I do not say that I am normal as you are, or I'm not now normal. I do not see one thing as normal. I say that everything is abnormal, and abnormality is not really a bad thing. I do not believe in anything being abnormal. I do think that things are different, and it is nice to be different. It makes us so much more interesting than being like, if the world was black and white, it would be so boring. If there are more colors, it's just a more interesting world.
Yes. Okay, so shall we close with that? So yeah, I think we are done with that. Thank you very much, Diti. Really enjoyed that very productive and exciting conversation. And you were not anxious at all. You were perfectly fine. Yes. So
Thank you.
yes. Thank you all. Thank you all for being there today, and join us again next Thursday for the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diti. Thank you, Kiran.